Hey everybody, welcome to Adventures with Peps. I have been very busy this week. I've had the chance to go to Jazz Fest here in Ottawa, so I've been making the most of it. But in my free time, I have been painting some working Joes. We will have the usual rotating picture just here. Make sure I'm holding my hand in the right place for my amazing editing skills. You always know where you are with a working Joe, so let's just get into the video. Right, as is always the case, I hate talking about my paint job. You can watch it, you can see what I'm doing. And while you're doing that, we're going to talk about the Working Joe, made famous by Alien Isolation, which I adore playing. Played for it earlier this year on my video games channel. I'll have a link somewhere for that. But anyway, the Working Joe. Originally created by the European company Seegson in the early 2100s, it lacked the human realism of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation's David and Walter synthetics, and instead featured rubberized skin and a blank face. Seegson predominantly advertised the Working Joe's nondescript appearance, portraying the model as safe and trustworthy. The Working Joe also featured eyes that changed colours depending on the situation. When it's normal, they glowed a soft white. When working or is forced to take an aggressive action, they turned red. The Working Joes would be synced to Apollo, a property of Seegson computer mainframe. The Tessatech 2100B, a model of orbital refinery manufactured by Cygus, initially featured the storage compartment for a complement of Working Joes. As of 2122, however, a legal case between Seegson and Weyland-Yutani resulted in the replacement of the Working Joes with Weyland-Yutani synthetics. Working Joes are capable of operating mining vehicles such as haulers. They could also be used in the initial construction of colonies ahead of human crews. However, settlers arriving afterwards would be forced to effectively undo the less than ideal work carried out by the robots. And at these outposts, Working Joes suddenly became dubbed Sloppy Joes. While this was all happening, the Union of Progressive Peoples were rumoured to have commissioned Working Joes to be utilised as a combat synthetic. It was later proven true with the emergence of the Fighting Joe. Working Joes saw use during the Sevastopol station's run, governed by the Apollo AI. After learning of a potential xenomorph outbreak on the station in 2137, Weyland-Yutani purchased the outdated station and remotely installed an operational rule-set packet into Apollo, which included Special Order 939. As part of the software update, Apollo began scanning the station for xenomorph presence, and upon discovering the creatures in the station's reactor maintenance section, where the hive had been constructed, the computer activated the special order on the 11/24/2137. Apollo shut off all communications and reprogrammed the Joes stationed at the comm center to prevent anyone attempting to send a message off station. Comms manager Hughes was killed after confronting a Joe about the issue. Amanda Ripley McLaren would go on to encounter several Joes within the center, and later still during her pivotal plight for survival. Due to the efforts of Marshal Waits using Amanda as bait when an alien was later jettisoned from the station, Apollo responded by ordering all Working Joes to hunt down and kill the remaining humans on board the station. All Joes on the station would go on to be destroyed after the station plummeted into K9348's atmosphere. I'm glad they talk about Alien Isolation. When I was playing that game, the Working Joes drove me nuts. They were worse than fighting a xenomorph. Obviously, you couldn't fight a xenomorph. It would kill you 9 times out of 10. But the Joes were so annoying. You got too close, they strangled you, they followed you, they kept talking. So many oh, have you heard about our safety upgrades? I don't care. Get out of my way, you stupid droids. They also, even when they were dead on the floor, you walked past them, they grabbed your ankle. God, they pissed me off. But because of that, they're just locked into my memory. They're so iconic. They have that weird, like rubbery skin. They don't have hair. They're just bald. got no real features to them, and they've got just this sleek bald head, which just makes me feel really creeped out by them. They're all wearing, like, for the most part, these green Seegson, I guess, corporate logoed uniforms with orange shoulder pads, which you hopefully can see in the painting video I'm doing. And then later on, you get some that are in goddamn hazmat suits. They're the worst. So the best way to take them out in game was to use like a cattle prod, basically, to shock them. If they're in their bright orange rubber suits, which I'm hopefully going to get some of those models soon, you couldn't even do that to them. Super annoying. The quickest way to get rid of them was a shotgun to the head, but then you make so much noise that you attract more Working Joes, or worse yet, you attract a xenomorph, maybe some human survivors. You end up in a fight that you really did not want to be in, all because of these stupid robots. But anyway, it's because of their stupidity that I love them so much. Now, these I could obviously use with my alien minis, so that's quite an easy use for these. I'm also going to use them in my 2000 AD setting. So those who follow the channel frequently, and if you've got this far and you don't follow, maybe hit that little subscribe button. It does mean something. But yeah, I'm going to use them in 2000 AD to represent the synthetics that work for Kelp Pharmacy, who are going to be one of my big bad meanies of Sector 102. The plan there for that group is that they're actually meant to be very similar to Wayland, Yutani, and Seegson in general. So I'm not too worried about using these droids for that purpose. It's going to continue the nod to the project. But yeah, right. Depending on how long I've been yapping, we could probably talk about the paint job now. Right, where to begin? As always, start off with a nice black prime and heavily dry brushed it with the golden maple fair skin color tone, which I absolutely adore using. Highly recommend. We then worked on what I classified as the fiddly section. So that is going to be the orange piping on this model. So on his trouser legs, around his jacket and shoulder pads, he has orange. So I'm using the contrast paint by Citadel Colors, which is the Griffhound Orange. This model is 100% painted with Citadel Colors. So if I forget to say that part, just know it's a Citadel one. With the orange down and dried, and I made sure it was completely dry first, I used Creed Camo contrast paint to represent those green overalls, the jumpsuits that these guys wear. And then that was rapidly followed by Snakebite Leather for the boots, which was a nice quick step. Now, I was struggling on how to do their faces. In-game, they kind of had a blue tint to them, which I was going to struggle to get, so I kind of ignored that idea completely and instead went with the Apothecary White, which kind of gives them a darker grey in the recesses. And then I'm pretty sure we're catching up to the video here. I started working on the boxes and crates and all that good stuff, and I used Iaden Yellow and Flesh Tear Red to get those colours down. Before this video actually finishes, you won't see me do it, but I paint any computer screens that these droids have using the Tesseract Glow before I hit up the base with Dawnstone as a layer paint and washed it with Nun Oil to darken it down to give me the grey that I like to use on my Judge Dredd figures. So hopefully at this point you're going to start seeing some glamour shots, and there'll be the little 360 that we always do. And I do truly appreciate that you've hung out with me for 10 minutes today. Means a lot. If you can drop a subscribe, that would be amazing. If you could drop a like, even better. Say hello in the comments. I always chat back when that happens. Otherwise, if you've got a project to share, the YouTube community page is now open. There should be a button there somewhere. You guys are allowed to post freely in there. So yeah, go for it. Otherwise, I'll see you on Discord if you're there. And if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, please do. There's buttons down below, and it's so hot. I'm just drinking iced coffee like I'm going crazy. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed this little dive into the alien world. We'll have a Slain video next, and I will catch you very soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and then go watch this one. This one up here. Give it a click. Bye-bye.